So I was lucky enough to be able to stay up and play the midnight release of Black Flag Resynced, and as of recording this I have about 12 hours in the game. I just wanted to make this quick video not as a review but as a first impressions for anyone sitting on the fence about the game and add to the general discussions around it. I fucking love piracy, and so when the OG Black Flag came out I busted a proverbial nut. I think I was like 13 or 14 at the time, and so this game was a pretty big deal for me. So obviously I fell for Ubisoft's nostalgia bait, and to be fair, I think it worked. By no means am I saying this game is perfect. In fact, there are a couple things that at the time of writing this I could be done better. Come back. So to begin with, the story of Black Flag Resynced is, well, the story of Black Flag, minus the real world bollock, which means while trying to play through the story, the pace won't be absolutely shattered by running around as an iPad kid. They've made a few adjustments here and there, especially when the animus sections usually would pop up in order to smooth the transitions between sequences, or to urge you to interact with the new content. Some missions like tailing and chasing down pickpockets have had major quality of life improvements, and it doesn't seem like there are any forced stealth sections, which is a choice. You may like it, you may not. As for the new content, it mostly hits all the marks. It can be quite jarring compared to the quality of the base story. I did keep in mind that these were optional side activities, so I was never expecting them to be the same quality. I've only encountered 2 of the new shipmates, and I won't get into their gameplay right now, but what I will say is that they do have some interesting themes and characterizations. But unfortunately, they're both subject to a very predictable mini story. And that's not to say the characters are bad by any means, because I quite like them. Anyway, overall, the story and additional content is still solid, and to be fair, I would have been impressed if they managed to fuck it up. From a visual standpoint, the game is absolutely perfect, and is pretty fucking well optimized. I've been playing on the slim version of the PS5, and other than the occasional ship freaking out at sea or an NPC's pathing going haywire, I haven't really had any frame drops, and I've only had one crash, which for a day one release is pretty fucking solid if you ask me. To be fair, I think this is because it's developed in-house in the Anvil engine, rather than just smashing it all into Unreal 5. I've actually found myself a couple times just stopping and taking in the views of the world around me, like this rainbow. Now I have to admit, this is the prettiest fucking rainbow I've ever seen in the game. You can almost see the individual mist particles as they refract the light. I can only imagine what this looks like on a high-end PC. I'd also like to point out that the art style, the characters and the costumes from the OG Black Flag remain completely faithful, which is lovely to see in an age where cosmetics are often over-designed in AAA games. Most of the new additions in the gear fit the world very well, with the exception of the god-awful Fortnite looking skins found in the shop, which I'll get to in a second, but other than that, yeah, the game looks pretty good. Now, saving the most important part till last is obviously the gameplay, and that has seen many changes. Whether they're good, however, is completely up to the player, but here's my impression. I want to start positively and talk about the naval combat, which is as engaging as ever. Now, I don't know if I'm a bit rusty, but it seems like the encounters are a bit trickier, but in quite a good way. Enemy ships appear to use decent tactics to try to take you down, and each ship type sticks to its distinct role, meaning taking on multiple ships can be challenging as their playstyles all complement one another. I think the difficulty has been buffed to accommodate all the new crew members you can seek out. Each one gives the Jackdaw a massive buff, which can have you go from running at the sight of a frigate to completely taking it head on. I must admit the rate of the Jackdaw's power scaling in my playthrough has been pretty breakneck, but in no means the most powerful ship in the water, with medium force still giving me a decent run for my money. As for boarding, I think it's taken a bit of a hit, but not because of the naval combat, but because of Edward. If you played the OG, then you would know that the ground combat itself wasn't the most complex thing, and quite frankly, it was pretty damn easy. For me, this has taken a massive hit. You can tell that the devs have put the effort in to try make sure the combat is a bit more complex, but what it's resulted in is in some weird, clunky combat system that feels trivial compared to the original. In fact, the only time I really struggle with the combat is when I'm fighting the game itself. Also, I'm not really a fan of how the lock-on system is implemented in this game, and at points it kind of feels like a chore. On the upside, takedowns are as brutal as ever and are always fun to watch, but this just makes me miss the very old simple combat of OG. Hi, this is Ollie from about 3 hours of gameplay down the line. I'm more used to the combat now, so it's not as bad as what I said. However, there are some points where it does feel a bit clunky. It's like a weird Frankenstein system of the OG combat and the new RPGs, and it kind of sits in a very odd middle ground. There are some very cool things you can do, but it feels very limited in a weird way. As for movement, Edward feels very light on his feet, and the free running is very intuitive. However, I wish there was an option for the older control scheme, as many of my struggles come from the old control scheme being burnt into my fucking brain, but I'm sure I can get over that. Basically, at its height, the game is an absolute blast from the past, and it's delivered the nostalgia bait in full, but for its lows, it does feel like a weird mashup with the height of Ubisoft and the current low RPG standards, with less than stellar gameplay elements being ported over from the RPGs and the inclusion of an in-game store and way over the top skins. It's fun to see that the new Ubisoftisms are negatively affecting this game, and all the stuff from the OG Black Flag is fucking amazing. It really makes apparent the difference in quality between the two different game design philosophies. Now, overall, if you're someone that fucking loves Black Flag like me, then I think you are going to really enjoy this game. It delivers in almost every aspect, and personally, even with some of the flaws I've lifted, I'm still having a hell of a time. Hence why the game's only been out for 2 days and I've already got like 15 hours. The game might also be fun for those new to the series and looking to dip their toe in, and the RPG fans. But if you're someone that has genuine issue with the modern day Ubisoft and their business practices, then perhaps the game might not be for you. Now, the score is subject to change, obviously. This is a first impression, 15 hours in, and I'm ready to give it a solid 8 out of 10 for now, which for a remake is very high. I think they've smashed it out the park, and in a lot of ways I'm looking forward to finishing the game and carrying on. When I do finish the game, I will drop a review to see whether the game really is worth spending your money and time on, and just to see the difference between my first impression and my final impression. Again, this is not a review, and it's not to convince you to buy the game, it's just to add to the discussion and perhaps see what everyone's first impressions of the game are. I want to close this video again by saying thank you to everyone for watching. We've literally smashed through the next milestone, which is 20 subscribers. I think I thanked everyone in the last video for hitting 10, and then overnight it doubled. So I'm honestly astounded. Thank you so much. Sorry this video came out a couple days late. We're in the middle of a pretty fucking nasty heat wave. I had another video in the works, but that completely fell through. I'll try to be on the ball next week and have a video out by Thursday, although I'm sure the scheduling right now doesn't really matter too much. I just want to hold myself to it. Again, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts about Black Flag below, and whether you think the game's good or shit, whatever. Honestly open to an honest discussion. But again, thank you so much. Bye.